Hello friends! This video is about the heat loss program, which allows you to calculate the heat loss of rooms and heaters. The program has a user-friendly interface, many functions, and communication with AutoCAD, which makes the calculation easy and quick. The program comprises the following sections. Projects. Here are the calculations performed. Here you can see an example of calculation. Settings. Envelopes. By envelopes, I mean the ones in the rooms. Floors. Rooms. Heaters. Database. The database can be modified. It contains the following: urban climatology, materials of the envelopes, products of the envelopes such as windows or doors, and database of internal temperature of the rooms. To perform the calculation, 3 simple steps are needed. The first is to add envelopes. The second is to add floors. And the third is to add rooms. Everything is very intuitive and understandable. Projects. They are stored in the cloud. They can be edited, namely open, download to a file, delete, copy, and rename. Settings. In that group, you can select City, Building Density, Positioning of the building plan on the AutoCAD drawing, and other advanced settings. Envelopes. They can be edited. Let's add a new envelope. Here, you need to select the type of the envelope. Let's select External Wall. In this table, the materials of the envelopes are entered manually or selected from the database. Let's select some from the database. Here, the materials are structured by category, and there is also a search. Let's find and select the plaster. Now we need to specify only the thickness of the material. Let's also add other materials. Insulation, brick, and plaster. As a result, the thermal transmittance and thermal resistance were determined. You can also get a temperature chart in the envelope. Among them are temperature values between the materials of the envelope, dew point temperature, and the difference between the temperature of inside air and the envelope surface. In the case of condensation, a corresponding message will be displayed. Occasionally, it happens that at the beginning of the design, the materials of the envelope are unknown. In this case, you can simply manually enter the standard thermal resistance of the entire envelope. Change the calculation mode to Input and specify the thermal resistance value. Now, let's add the envelope Hybrid Wall. In fact, this wall consists of two different envelopes: an above-ground section and an underground section of the wall. But the program will determine the average thermal resistance of the entire envelope. This allows you to insert one envelope into the room instead of two, which greatly simplifies the work. Enter the height of the wall, underground floor depth, and add the materials. Floors. They can be edited. When copying a floor, all the rooms that are part of this floor also will be copied. For example, for a 10-story residential building with the same floor plan, it is enough to make a calculation of only 3 floors, the first, 10th, and intermediate, and create the rest as a copy of the intermediate floor. Let's add a floor. Here, we enter the name of the floor, its level, height, area, and perimeter. Rooms. Here the rooms are structured by floors. They can be edited. To quickly add the names of several rooms at once, you can use the insertion from the explication. Let's add a room. Enter the number, name, and area. The internal air temperature can be entered manually or selected from the database. To calculate infiltration, you can select different types of ventilation and indicate the presence of the air terminal devices. The envelopes of the room are entered into this table. Add the external wall. Select its orientation. Enter the length and height. The area will be determined automatically. Let's add a few more envelopes. From the envelopes into which other envelopes are built, the area of these envelopes can be subtracted. For example, let's subtract the area of the windows from the wall by hitting the Select button and confirm the selection. That's it, the surface area has been redefined. If there is a room similar to the current one, you can import envelopes from it. To accomplish this, click Import from Room and select the room. Great! The envelopes have been imported. But there is an even more effective method to enter the envelopes. It's importing them from AutoCAD. To do so, you need to pre-draw the envelopes in AutoCAD as a separate module, as shown in a separate video. In that file, I have already drawn envelopes. To import them, you just need to click the Export Envelopes button. Select the necessary envelopes individually or by means of a selection frame, and hit Enter. Done. We have entered the following: all the names of the envelopes, their orientation and dimensions. Areas were determined given the areas of built-in envelopes, and heat losses were calculated. So easily and quickly, in a couple of clicks, you can import envelopes from AutoCAD without any manual input errors. It is also possible to calculate heat losses through an adjacent and heated room. To accomplish this, add an internal envelope with an adjacent room and external envelopes of the adjacent room. Thermal bridges are linear thermal bridges in the junction points of the envelopes. For example, an external wall junction to a flat roof, or a window junction to an external wall. Thermal bridges can be added manually or defined and filled automatically. In rooms with a height of over 4 meters, the program calculates the change in the temperature of the internal air according to the height of the room. An additional parameter, heating method, will appear in such rooms. Let's leave the room. You can change not only one specific room, but also several rooms at once, as follows. Select the rooms to be changed, an editable parameter. For example, you can change the temperature of the internal air, or the size of windows in several rooms at once. As a result of the calculation, we have determined total heat loss of the building and specific heat loss per square meter of area. You can get an infographic of heat losses. It allows you to visually assess the weak points in heat loss and take measures to improve them. The calculation report can be downloaded to an Excel file. Let's do it. Here are the following datasheets: Settings, Expanded Heat Loss Report, and an abbreviated heat loss report. Radiators. Here you can select various radiators and get their specification. Select the room for which the radiator will be calculated and add the radiator. Here, choose the radiator manufacturer, model, type, and height. Enter heat losses, the number of radiators, select the type of installation, and run a calculation. Done. The radiator was selected. The calculation report can be downloaded to an Excel file. Let's do it. As you could see, the program is very convenient and functional. Never has the calculation of heat loss been done so easily and simply. This review is over. If you have any questions or requests, please write to us on the website or on Facebook.